They were Seventh-day Adventists.
Who was?
Oh, no, Jehovah's Witness.
Who?
Michael Jackson's family.
What?
Yeah, Jehovah's Witness.
Imagine this. You get a knock on the door. Get out of here. No soliciting. Trust me, you're going to want to see this. And you open the door, and someone Jehovah witnesses to you while moonwalking.
Yeah, watch
It's
my
MJ.
kids.
It's MJ.
Watch my 5 boys.
Yeah.
Before you close the door, watch my son do this. Just watch him.
And then tell me if you believe in God.
Yeah. And then maybe you might be interested. No, welcome back, gentlemen. It's great to see you both.
Good
I don't know about
Likewise,
you. I don't know
likewise.
about you, but after that State of the Nation address,
I'm on fire.
boy, do I feel
I'm
Do I
so
feel
excited. I'm on fire.
good. I didn't listen to the Simon Bridges interview section because
You
told
did
me it
or
was
you
boring.
didn't? No, I listened to it and it was just it was just like numbers and
I watched it on fast forward, guys.
Did you?
Yeah.
yeah, as did I.
I was like, yeah. Okay, cool.
His
Done.
speech though, I thought Luxon's speech was actually pretty good.
That was
That's
good.
fine.
What did you think about his whole comment about housing and migrant, like bringing in
It was
more
good.
migrants and immigration and
I thought it was very positive. Mike Hosking put it very well. He said, whenever you go into an election campaign and you see a party handing out candy and making these big promises, that's a sign that they're not doing very well.
Yeah.
And that's a sign that they're not very confident.
Mm.
But what came out of Luxon's speech was just, look, we're not going to do sugar rush economics. We're not going to
Yeah.
bring in immigrants to push up house prices.
Yeah.
We're just going to do the basics and build the future. So it wasn't really a flash. It wasn't a flash statement or speech.
But it didn't feel underwhelming either.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
feel like some people were like, "Oh, he didn't announce any policy." When I say some people, I mean the opposition was like, "He didn't release any policy."
Yeah.
Neither have you.
Yeah.
Like,
But also,
what are we talking about here?
there's enough talking points just from a speech, right? Like
Yeah.
the one he gave. You don't need to like crowd it out
No.
because otherwise you'll lose the good news.
Does he have a teleprompter?
Yeah,
You have a teleprompter, right?
Yeah,
Probably,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I was watching,
100%.
I was like, man, speaking so well.
He's good.
He's good, yeah.
But even if he doesn't have, when he doesn't have a teleprompter,
He'll have.
he'll have all his lines. Like he's quite a good speaker. Yeah,
I mean, I've heard mixed reviews on his public speaking.
interesting. Okay.
Often people say, "Oh, he was way better at Air New Zealand. Trust me, you'll see it soon." And this is probably the first time I've watched him speak where I was like, "Oh, that was really solid."
Yeah, interesting.
And I thought he actually covered all the bases that I
Yeah. Yes.
like. I didn't have any expectations, so I can't say I expected him. But
Yeah.
I thought he covered a lot of bases that I was pretty
Yes.
impressed with. What do we think is going to come off the back of this? Well, we've heard the State of the Nation address now. When's the policy coming, Arian?
Well, they've already announced to keep some policy, and
Well, the FTA.
the FTA
schools.
KiwiSaver at 12% by 2030, I think.
2030.
I like that.
That's the base. Yeah.
I like the QSAV increase.
Yeah.
Yeah, so from April this year, it'll be 3.5% as your default.
Yep.
So it's already starting to go up, and the next year will be 4,
Mm.
and then it will incrementally increase as your default. But correct me if I'm wrong. You don't have to take KiwiSaver at the moment.
It's
Yeah,
not. Yeah.
But if you do opt in, your base is 3. Yeah,
And
Yeah.
so the employer contribution by 2030, whatever it is.
that's 6%,
6%,
and
isn't it?
employee as well,
Yes.
6%, which will just
Yeah.
mean that like your wages will be cut by 6%, kind of. Like if I'm hiring someone, I'll just take that into
but if
account.
you
Yeah.
set this and you also fix the economy,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, it balances out. And then the numbers that he said, what a 21-year-old starting QSaver this year will end up retiring with $1 million.
Yeah, apparently it's like
If that's all they do to prepare for retirement,
it's not so bad, is it?
yeah. Well, I mean, people are retiring right now with they're lucky to have a couple 100,000.
Yeah.
Well, if the housing market doesn't go off on this rocket ride, like it did for the last 20, 30 years,
Mm.
and that doesn't happen between now and their retirement, cool.
Yeah.
But if it did, like you factor in how many people are going to use that for a house deposit. A lot of people aren't saving enough to have a house deposit and retirement
And a
fund.
retirement fund. I mean, I used my QSaver for the house deposit
Sure.
um,
And then
8 years ago now.
And then you kept going after you.
And then now
use
it's back
the
up to that
deposit.
level again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Deb didn't touch hers. So,
Oh, respect.
yeah, hopefully I just
But
get
with
all of
with
that.
compounding interest, but you take that 8 year
Yeah.
or whatever it was that you were saving. How long were you saving for before you got to that point?
Yeah, about 6 years. No, how old was I? 22 years. Yeah. 7 years.
Yeah. So 7 years without compounding, and the contribution that you've taken out for your house. Yeah, sure, that's still money in your hands in the sense you have an asset to show for it, but it's a lot less in terms of your KiwiSaver because of the lack of you know.
Also,
contribution,
that was
don't
based on a
interest.
percentage of like a lot of minimum wage when I was between
Yeah.
16 and
Right.
21 or whatever.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then you got living wage. And,
But a lot of Kiwis are still in that vicinity, right? In terms
Yeah,
of their
yeah,
earning power. So
Well,
we're going to have to boost the economy. That's the only way forward if we want to maintain the standard of living and the services that we have and all that stuff.
Productivity.
Okay.
But I mean, I
None of
agree.
this.
I think the super situation had to change.
boosting the economy. Here we go. This is just an idea. Don't shoot it down. Bring over 1 million Indians.
No,
Not 100,000. 1 million.
million of them.
Do you like that idea?
I'll have to consider it. Let me consider it. Hold on.
Was that the plan when they were talking about
I don't like it.
intensifying housing in Auckland and creating
Yeah,
2
yeah.
million more, you know?
And we love multiculturalism. Okay, let's talk about it because this is becoming a real hot topic.
Straight into the minefield.
This is
please.
becoming a really hot topic because we're seeing with the Ministry of Primary Industries and Shane Jones yesterday talking about the people who are doing the what did you call it? Like picking
So beach combing.
rock pool.
Beach combing.
beach
Yeah,
combing,
yeah.
beach
Yeah.
combing,
Rock
yeah.
pools, yeah.
And he was just explicitly like, yeah,
It's foreigners.
it's foreigners, it's
immigrants.
migrants. He's like, they're organizing it on Chinese language pages.
He called it beach combing, but Shane Jones always adds really big words in the dictionary to everything he says.
I don't know.
Oh,
Beach
what did
combing
he
is
call
the
it?
Yeah,
biggest word
I'd have
I've
to
ever
go back and look up the exact quote from RNZ, but you know.
I was like,
Yeah.
He does have some. I do like the way he spins it. No, and I was like, how then the lady's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
the lady interviewing was like, "Hey, that's kind of
You
racist."
can't say that about a whole community. He goes, you must not know who you're talking to.
yeah. You're talking to Shane Jones.
Shane Jones from the New Zealand First Party.
We're
I'm
my-
a Darting Thomas when it comes to mass
We're
immigration.
we're mass immigration skeptics. Yeah.
No,
And she's
but,
like,
but
okay.
okay. And then we obviously had all the Chinese MPs come out and say, hey, let's leave ethnicity out of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's look further abroad for a second. Somali fraud. We're looking at issues in the UK. I'm just saying. Well, when are we
Hey,
going
no,
to
no,
start
please.
calling it what it is?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Bad-
I'm
bad
a son of an
immigration
immigrant.
policy.
I'm a son of
No.
an immigrant. You're an immigrant.
I am a straight up immigrant.
I'm just saying.
I'm
that
the son of an immigrant too.
you're the son of
Yeah.
an immigrant.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying
Wow.
we don't actually progress any positive solutions when we avoid labeling things as they are. You know what I mean?
because we're afraid of
Because you're afraid.
these labels like racist or something.
Because then it's always the boogeyman. It's always an idea that's posing a threat, and it is ideas, but they're attached to tangible physical groups and ideologies that we can address if we're willing to be honest about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the RNZ lady wanted him to be like. Did he want him to say so and so specific person?
Yeah.
She's like, well, it's specific individuals. It's like, what, you want me to name this specific person that's out there picking? It's like, no, there's a community of people who
They're
are
in groups,
organizing. Yeah, and they're in groups. And one way that we can, this sounds terrible, but one way we can identify this is that they're all immigrants and they're not used to, how we manage our resources and how we
I think
relate
what they
to.
need to do is they need to go and watch all 3 Avatar movies.
Oh,
Oh,
what's
Just so
the
they
name?
understand that they need to be better kaitiaki when it comes to our
I
natural
haven't-
world. Yeah.
I'm put my hair and connected to the trees and the earth and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah. Go shoot some arrows.
No, but this is the thing as well is sure, it might not because she said, well, are they taking too much? And he's like, well, it's not that they're taking too much, it's just the volume of people who are participating. So it's like
So if you bring 1 million
That's- yeah,
people in
that's-
and they all
that's
take one
specific
thing
and
from the
quite
beach,
accurate,
there's
yeah.
nothing left on the
because
beach.
she's like,
yeah.
well, actually, whoever it was, the fisheries or the MPI actually thinks then no one's exceeding the limit.
Yeah. No, you,
Okay.
Yeah.
Any crowd that rushes the beach like that, they're going to strip it clean,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Yes.
You don't, and then they'll technically they're all within their rights because
Exactly.
they've only taken a few things. But
Supply and demand, eh?
That's it. That's it. And Shane made a very good comment early on in the interview when he was like, well, early immigrants, European immigrants had to get used to, using the resources, and they had to learn how to use resources in a way that's sustainable and keeps things thriving.
yeah, he pointed out
He
like,
pointed it's not like a race specific thing, although it is, but it's like, no, people just need to learn to use our resources in a way that's sustainable.
Do you find it ironic as well that it's like, well, the iwis are saying this, and this? Well, there used to be a lot of moa in New Zealand. I'm just saying, we're not going to take moral grandstanding on environmental care from people who historically have not been the best at it. I just think that we should be honest about it.
Yeah,
are
I
they
mean,
responsible for the dinosaurs going extinct as well?
Well, no, that was the flood. That was the asteroid. That was the Younger Dryas impact theory.
Yeah. I mean, he referred to the British. Well, it wasn't just the British actually, but the
Early
settlers
immigrants,
that
yeah,
destroyed the
yeah.
Cody forests and all that. But I mean, we've all got to learn that lesson, right?
If we were to play this argument out to its nth degree, though,
I agree.
wouldn't the solution be that we all become moldy?
Wait, what?
Because if we're like everyone assimilate to New Zealand because New Zealand is the culture or whatever, but then it's like, well, Māori were the indigenous people that are here first. Wouldn't we then take a step further back even and be like, well, we should all adopt Māori culture and become Māori because they're the indigenous people? Or do we just say that Kiwi New Zealand is the prevailing culture, so we should take that one?
I think so much when it comes to culture, there are so many things that are irrelevant to the thing that we're really trying to get at here. Like the fact how you cook your food, how you hold your meetings at your marae, those sorts of things. They're all very different aspects of culture. You know what I mean? And the fact that you might value your extended family unit more than say someone from a Western, 2-parent, 2-child kind of household, that stereotype. Those things are all. Each issue is different, right? So you can't just talk about culture as if it's one thing, even though there are people that fall into categories or groups, according to those characteristics. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, what aspect of a culture is problematic? I'll give you an example. In like parts of East Africa or like Somalia, I should say, female circumcision. I think that's abhorrent.
What?
I think that doing that to girls, young women, Arian's trying to work out what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Keep going. That's fine.
I'm vaguely. I think
I
didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I
Okay,
don't
crazy.
even want to
I'll
know.
Look it up.
I'm too scared.
But my point is that it's different to male circumcision, right? And
I bet.
there's even a debate around that, right? Whether that should still be a thing. But my point is that there's really no debate around the world apart from in these few small communities where female circumcision is practiced, because it's basically genital mutilation, and there is no health benefit. There's no other benefit. In fact, all it does is it causes major lifelong problems for women that have it. And to argue that should be protected because it's a cultural practice, even if it's imported to the West and communities, that go into the West and continue that practice, say it's sacred to them. That to me would be something that we absolutely should challenge. But
I suppose my question is like, or what I'm sort of trying to get at is, people carry culture, but then also a nation has an identity that we should be able to like articulate, and that we should be able to point towards, and that if you want to live in that nation, you should participate in the norms of that nation.
So you're talking about national identity. That's a bit different to culture.
Different than culture.
Because culture is a very broad term. National identity, you might be able to sort of peg down as these maybe 5 characteristics that are quite.
But I think
typical.
they are connected in the sense, because it's hard to have a national identity if you have multiculturalism.
Yeah, but we have multiculturalism within New Zealand. We had it before we had it in 1980.
Like full blown to the degree that we have it now, or do we have multiracial?
When you say full blown, it could get even more multicultural if we keep going
Right
where
now.
we're going. So I don't think it's even full blown, right? We still have a fairly dominant culture in this country, which until recently.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think we do actually. Coming from Dunedin to Wellington down to Auckland,
Sure.
I would say in Dunedin, yes, very European. In Wellington, very progressive European.
Yeah.
In Auckland, like it's a whole nother culture. Like,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we're not all meeting on marae, right?
yeah,
We are meeting primarily in European, like traditional European meeting places. We go to our town hall, we go to our
not
community
necessarily.
support, we go to our
Malls,
churches.
there's temples, and they're building that big
What
statue.
I'm
in
saying
the
though
middle
is
of that area,
there are still minority cultures that exist in the society, but there's a dominant culture, and the dominant culture has led to institutions, practices, processes that we follow for the most part, and most of those stem from European culture. Good or bad. I'm not
I'd
making
disagree.
that
I'd say
point.
there's more people meeting in ethnic meeting halls and environments than there are Europeans meeting in town halls right now
In Auckland.
in Auckland.
Maybe, but
Mosques, temples.
Really? I know there's a lot lot of people doing that.
yeah.
But
I don't think it's quite
majority?
the numbers are quite there yet. If you
Maybe I haven't
Beautifully,
gone
just, I
outside of
went
East
to, I went
Auckland.
to
at the
South
net.
Auckland the other day. I
Yeah,
went
I
to get a
bet,
mouth
yeah.
guard from
Oh,
a
sure.
dentist to South Auckland. I went to Papatoi.
That's true.
I've been to India. I'm not even trying to exaggerate. It would be like
Papatoi has a very high.
You might be
proportion of
right.
Indian
I'm not trying to be inflammatory.
moments.
I genuinely looked around and it felt like I was back in Delhi.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
No,
Genuinely.
maybe.
but what we're saying is that there are parts of New Zealand where there's going to be much more diverse representation. But
Yeah.
but my point is that our systems politically and socially are dominated by a European approach, good or bad, whatever we want to say for that.
Nathan's point is-
no. I would
But
agree.
for
with-
how long?
No, but I would say they are dominated by a European system, but they are being utilized by non-European thinkers, and they are being utilized to advance non-European values.
I think that's becoming true.
Yeah, I think New Zealand is going through, and I think we saw it particularly last year and the year before, a formation of identity. Like, what is New Zealand's national identity? And I think we saw it particularly with the Treaty Principles Bill,
Yeah.
where it was like, who are we? Are we a liberal democratic nation, which kind of would be more Seymour side of things, where he's like, we're all equal before the law. It doesn't matter what your race is. This is us. And then there's this other culture, which you'd say maybe Toitu Tiriti and all that. We're like, well, no, we're bicultural and all this. And I think it goes to your point of like, what is New Zealand's national identity? When someone comes to New Zealand, what values should they be willingly adhering to? Or is it simple as the rule of law, equality before the law, freedom of speech, freedom of conscience? Are these values? Because you go to America. If I go to America and I live in America for 10 years, I'm an American. If you guys go to Iran or China, you could live there for 20 years, but you're not really Chinese, because those cultures are ethnic cultures. Whereas in the West, we have creeds that guide us. So someone might say I'm a Kiwi because I've lived here long enough and I adhere to general values. We just haven't articulated them. So I think it's a matter of New Zealand as a whole articulating what it means to be New Zealander, the same way we can articulate what it means to be an American to some extent.
I think what you've just said kind of makes your comment make more sense to me now around, do we have a New Zealand national identity that we adhere to, or is it just the values of democracy? And I think it's the latter. It's the values of democracy, right?
What are our non-negotiables?
Yeah. And I think, like, I've seen so many immigrants come and who are thankful to be here and are like, oh, like, I'm a Kiwi, go the All Blacks, that. But it's not so much the culture; it's the values that underpin that culture that they're really like thankful for, even if though it manifests in some of those more like specific support structures. But yeah,
because I think culture is a superstructure, right? It's way up here. If you think about like a big tanker, ocean line, tanker, you've got that superstructure, but there's so much more, right? That defines that vessel, that ship. And I think in terms of a society, culture is often that superstructure. It's like the conning tower. It's the control tower on the top, but actually it's the wrong way around. Culture is a product of a whole lot of other deeply embedded values and sometimes even geography and your history and everything else that is shaping what you do now. Because culture primarily, I think, is defined not just by what you think, but what you do. If things you adhere to, things you conform to, and that you think you should conform to, the norms that you carry with you. For me, it's like culture is always evolving. Some faster than others because of the external inputs, because of the new people that come in and bring new ideas and ways of thinking, and sometimes just it has to do with how you disperse amongst a new population, right?
Yeah.
If you have an injection of new people coming in from outside, have they gone and concentrated themselves in one city, in one neighborhood or one area, like you're referring to Papatoi, or have they gone to lots of regional centers and small towns and that type of thing?
Is that part of the immigration process, like declaring where you're going to be, or like where you intend to live?
For the most part, we've never actually encouraged people dispersing through the country.
We have more recently, though, eh?
Yeah.
Like,
but
'cause-
there's a time limit on it, and people then end up coming back.
Because when
know,
I
I kind
was
of people that have done
in
that.
Invercargill and we talked to the mayor down there a year and a half ago, he was saying, "Oh, we've had this huge influx of an Indian community who are awesome," and he was
Yeah.
really positive. And this is the same mayor that was controversial for
Nobby-
using the N word,
Nobby Clark.
Hey,
Yeah.
yo.
and people calling him a racist. We sat with him and he's like, "Oh, the Indian community here is amazing. There's like it's growing, they're thriving, they're starting businesses, they're doing." And I remember laughing because I was like, "This is the same guy who literally a week after we met with him, they put out another article about him saying the N word at a firefighters charity dinner."
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
And yeah, so in Dunedin, where we're like, obviously I was born and raised. My dad ended up there as an immigrant because of work. So like they sent him down there, and there was very few other Samoan people there. And I've heard stories growing up about how like there's a lot of skinheads and quite a lot of racist groups. And my dad was like one of the very few Samoan. Ended up connecting really closely to the Māori community as a result. But like as a result, I grew up in a pretty European environment that still knew about Samoa, knew a bit about Māori culture.
Yeah.
But more than anything, I grew up a Kiwi. Like I was really proud to be a Kiwi. I just don't know if kids are getting that same thing now, or it's that other thing that we've talked about where it's second generation born migrant children are idolizing what their parents fled
Yeah,
and thinking, "Oh, we should make here more like there," or "Oh, I wish here was more like there."
yeah, because they've struggled to fit in,
Yeah,
even though they're born
but
in the
it's
country.
self-inflicted.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm different. I'm different.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, it's their own
You're just-
angst. Eh?
you're a
Their own
normal
angst.
kid, like,
Yeah,
and everyone is different. You know what I mean? Like, but you're just a normal kid. It's not going to help you to feel like, oh, this is more like wherever I came from now. You know? I got a mate who moved to Australia nearly 3 years ago now,
yeah,
and for like the last 2 years, he's been on my case. Like, oh, why did you stay in New Zealand? You know, Australia's way better. Da da da. Da. And
Just
then
wait.
with all of the anti-Semitism, countering extremism stuff, and now the hate speech stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? What are we doing? And because he's not an Australian citizen,
yeah,
he said to me, he's like, I can't even vote. Like, I can't even have a say in
Yeah.
this. He's like, all I can do is like maybe
Just take
post on
it.
social media.
Yeah.
I said, I told you not to go there. And then he's a pastor, and obviously they targeted, or they explicitly outlined like religious leaders
Religious,
as
yeah.
like a group that they will be monitoring. And he goes, oh, what if I go to prison? I was like, oh, you know, I'll come get you.
Yeah.
We'll come help. But in Australia, it's
gnarly.
crazy at the moment, eh?
Yeah, I think they just passed it last night, but stricter gun laws and stricter hate speech laws. I'm going to find there was two phrases which I found quite damning, which were quite
And it's the
interesting.
buyback, eh? That's what the gun
Yes, yeah, there's the gun law, and then on the hate crime laws, it's more powers for a minister to cancel or refuse visa if a person has spread hateful or extremist views. And
They already do
creating,
that.
huh?
They already
Yeah,
do
you
that.
can.
yeah.
someone? Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess they're entitled to do that, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
In one sense.
Creating new aggravated offenses for religious or spiritual leaders who advocate violence and penalizing religious leaders who preach hate to children. It's all so convoluted. It's like half of that you're like, yeah, we shouldn't incite violence, and then it's like also they say hate.
But
It's
but that's
what
how
are
they
you
get public
saying?
buy-in, right? Because that's how they get public buy-in.
exactly. Yeah.
You mix in some stuff that people like, and then you mix in some nefarious things, and then that's how you get it over the line.
Just, I don't understand, like, why there aren't more people pushing back. There's been a few advocacy groups that I've seen pipe up.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, the Australian Free Speech Union. There's the Australian Jewish community. There was another one that I saw.
Which is crucial, right? That the Jewish community over there. Now, obviously, not all Jewish people in Australia are like, yeah, we are against
we're all
it.
part of it, yeah.
But for that sort of organisation to come forward and make such a bold statement, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I
And a
interrupted.
few MPs voted against it. But one thing is that they had a very short submission process for it. Like they
48 hours or something.
Yeah. They rushed the whole thing through incredibly quick. So
And then I think they did walk back some of their plans, though, because they didn't get this, like, Albo couldn't get the support he wanted.
yeah, right.
I
Okay.
think the Greens said that they would only participate and support if they extended that protections to LGBTQ communities.
Yeah.
So it just shows you how open to some of this,
Just identity politics.
identity politics, this sort of legislation is.
They trade so much in terms of things they want. It's so expedient.
And then there was a line of questioning that I saw where it was like, well, this expressly defends the Jewish community. What about the Catholic community? No. What about the Christian community more broadly? No. So it's like it is a two-tier justice system. And like I say, you can bring in the LGBTQ community, you can bring in the Muslim community.
But and that's the thing. Just the other day, so to speak, they were saying, "Oh, but Islamophobia is a major issue, right?" But then, of course, after October 7th, we started seeing synagogues being firebombed, Jewish community, like childhood centers and stuff like that. And then people were like, okay, well, that's probably not going to fly with the public to keep saying Islamophobia. And so then they switched to anti-Semitism, which is of course a major problem in Australia now.
Everything is Islamophobic, and then now it's anti-Semitism.
Yeah,
it's just whatever horse they think's going to get it across the line.
Yeah,
you know. But anyway,
and that's happening to a lesser degree in the UK, right? Well, Islamophobia just a year ago was the major topic of conversation, but now anti-Semitism is being recognised a little bit more. Still not enough, but it's being recognised a little bit more by the political establishment, even including Labour.
They've got their own problems though. Like they've got their under-16 ban that they're trying to push through now, and the EU. I think the EU's doing it as well.
Yes, they're considering it. Yeah. And there's specific countries like Denmark as well who want to do it, and Malaysia, and obviously we're talking about it in New Zealand. So lots of desire to control the online space from the state. They can take a couple of pages out of Iran's books. There'll be
cut off the internet.
Plenty to learn about running the internet there.
I was thinking about this, like with these attacks on the internet and the internet being promoted as this dangerous space. How soon before countries just have intranets, like fully internal and state controlled, and big tech has to play by those rules? Because that's the other thing I'd be keen to talk about is at what point does government interference with putting responsibilities back on big tech to protect people, create safe environments, where does it just start being like a violation of private companies' sort of rights, or not rights, but private companies' agenda, their initiatives? Like,
I mean, it's not nationalizing those companies, but it is effectively controlling them to the nth degree with bureaucracy, right?
And if you use extraterritorial powers to try and strong arm them into your nation's sort of set of conduct, would actually would impinge and impede them financially, but also in terms of how they operate. What would stop them from just pulling out other than profit? But from a country like New Zealand, where profit is probably very low, but who cares?
Well, but that's like that's the magic ingredient for the internet, right? Is the fact that it's transnational. So, how effective is it? How helpful is it if actually we're not speaking globally to each other anymore?
Oh, it's sending us back decades and decades and decades.
Yeah, of course there are harms that come with that are amplified as well when it's transnational, that communication. But
imagine that if
we're kind of just like dismantling the internet as we understood it.
Imagine if we how would you say it? If we just create domestic internet. It's all intranet, and it's only approved people are allowed internet. That's pretty bad.
I wouldn't know what's happening in anywhere.
Well, no, you would know, but only what they want you to know.
Yeah, exactly. Which is even worse. I'd rather not know.
Should we campaign for it? Should we start a campaign right now?
Well, that's what Iran's been trying to do for many years. Intranet.
Yeah.
And I think China, is that what the Great Firewall is? They have something similar where it's like you can use WeChat in the country and all this. And I think what's happened in the last few weeks has been they've been trialing their intranet.
Well, I know they have some pretty strict restrictions in China around what apps you can access. You can't go on Facebook, YouTube. They have their own.
They've got their
versions.
It's interesting. Even in Afghanistan, I was just reading the other day. There's actually a split emerging amongst the leadership of the Taliban.
Really?
And a lot of it is around questions like not only women's rights, like to what degree do women have any rights in Afghanistan, but also how much connectivity should they have, and should they actually allow the internet at all? And so there are some in the leadership saying, no, we do need the internet. And there are others saying, no, we're going back to the Stone Age completely. So who knows? There might be a massive split. Maybe a civil war,
Again.
It's interesting though, It's like the internet is this powerful beast, but I think by trying to over-regulate and safetyify the internet, you just absolutely incentivize dark web usage.
Oh, totally. And people equivalent it to like regulating, buying alcohol.
Speed limits.
Speed limits. It's like, No, regulating the internet is very different because the internet is literally infinite. Like it can just go on and on and on. Like you can create a new website, you can create a new page because it is just infinite. It goes on and on and on. You can't really do that with an alcohol store because it's just one store.
Or buying
it's,
alcohol.
or buying. It's a. I
You
mean,
eventually hit a point where you can't drink anymore.
yeah, exactly.
You die.
It's completely different, and so I just don't see the practicalities of regulating the internet, even where it might be a nice idea or things. The practicalities just make it almost.
Well, it's not a product in a sense. Like the internet is not a product. It's internet's more akin to currency and the ability to purchase it, I think, than it is a product. You know, like so regulating products or regulating, like speed limits.
access, right?
It's access. Yeah,
It's access.
it's not the same because. Yeah, the uses are so varied. The benefits are so varied. The harms are so varied. There's some realized, some unrealized. There's some that are easy to define, harder to define. And it's all in the eye of the beholder. Like I told you this story about that guy the other day. And the BBC ran it. He's like, oh, someone showed me a video at school that traumatized me. I've got PTSD in the last 10 years of my life. I've been an invalid.
What the heck?
That guy's just an idiot. We shouldn't regulate the whole internet now because of that guy. Like that guy's an idiot.
I think, Dr. David Harvey, right? He was making this point recently that we went through a paradigm shift, and it's easy for people to use that term paradigm shift for all sorts of stuff. But this just genuinely was a paradigm shift where the internet and social media and our modern forms of communication have transformed the way we not only do business and educate, but actually the way we think. Like, you think about how do you go through a day, like even just over the summer break.
Holy.
I was trying to stay off my phone, right, and try and do things with the kids and outdoors and camping and stuff like that. And you realize that very quickly. Oh, I've become very dependent on certain things related to my phone.
Yeah.
I was thinking about because I wanted to get some magnesium tablets. Apparently, they help with sleep.
Yes, that's right.
And cramping as well.
And cramping, yeah, which I've got a lot of cramps. But I've got like 3 or 4 containers of magnesium tablets from however many years ago already.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if they go off. I think they lose their potency. But what's the first thing you do? Check on your phone, Chat GPT, Google. Like I'm at the point now where I don't even use Google to search things anymore. I'm everything on GPT now.
GPT,
Yeah.
crazy.
And it's like,
Guys, I've got 20 volumes of an encyclopedia on my wall. So I don't know what you're talking about.
do you know what's funny is sometimes I'll go to there might be like a cafe that's got an encyclopedia collection on display, just for like the aesthetic and the vibe. And I think, I should get me one of those.
Yeah.
It would just take up so much space. You've got a library, so it makes sense. But you know what I mean? Like we have changed so much, and even such a short period of time. I remember probably only a year ago laughing at people, not laughing, but being like, that's strange that they were GPTing as opposed to Googling. Like, is the language going to change? Because now we just say, oh, Google it. Are we going to say GPT it? Or,
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Apparently the way the modern brain has changed. In the past, people used to memorize things, but now we just remember where to look. So we don't memorize the item of information. We remember where the information is.
Yeah.
So it's on this website, on this page. I don't actually know what the specific information is, but I know that if I go on this link or if I go to this place. So even the way we think is...
Do you mean like trusted sources?
Yeah, as in the past, people used to just memorize the information they needed because it wasn't as accessible. Now we don't memorize a specific piece of information.
Just a reference.
It's quite difficult if you get lost in Iran and you lose your mum. It's better nowadays, but back in the day, they all in their Darth Vader.
Right.
Because they all have their, So everyone's just.
So you're like tugging on the hem of this girl.
Oh
no, okay.
No.
And you can't call out for your dad because you yell Muhammad and
yeah, exactly. So
that's a good joke. That's a joke that the statisticians will get.
I like that one. The statisticians.
Speaking of common names, you see Singh is the most popular last name in New Zealand now.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I saw that Mikey Sherman was pressing Christopher Luxon on it. Like, so do you think that people are going to be concerned that Singh has overtaken Smith? And like, not that Smith was the previous most common name, but sort of the concept of, Anyway, and he's like, no, I think it's,
That's
our
fantastic.
Indian community is fantastic. They bring so much to the country. But
he has just done a free trade deal with.
With huge immigration.
Let's go, Modi.
Mr. Modi.
You don't have to do the accent.
Okay.
You don't have to do the
Sorry.
No, do it again. Do it again.
Nah.
But yeah, Singh's most popular last name in New Zealand now.
And Muhammad is the top boy's name in the UK.
It is.
It is.
They're all, but isn't it? Is it like
It,
they're all? Is it a religious thing that they all get called Muhammad, or is it just like?
you're looking at me.
Well, you've been to the UK.
I didn't grow up in a Muslim country then.
Yeah.
How come you're not Muhammad Aryan?
I'm Aryan.
Yeah.
Well, no, lots of the. I mean, I think it is a religious thing, but it's also just like an easy name for them. Like most of the names are religious, so Muhammad or Reza or whatever, they're all
I mean,
religious.
you know, until
John,
200
James, you know, they're all.
yeah, for like, until
I mean,
200
I've got 3 kids with biblical names. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
until 200 years ago, you know, British names. Basically, there were 20 British names
yeah.
that we use for almost
Really?
everybody.
John, Peter, George,
Mary, yeah.
Mary.
Yeah.
Fatima.
Oh man.
and they only started getting diverse in the last couple hundred years with you know more interaction with other countries. But
now we've got people like Apple and
Table.
Yeah.
Leaf,
yeah,
Rainbow,
and peaches.
Yeah. I was at a museum the other day in the War Memorial area.
Oh, nice.
It's hard not to stand in there and be inspired, you know. And
Oh,
to just be
I
like,
really
into
love
the
that.
War
I
Museum.
love the
Yeah,
museum
it's
for that
so
reason.
good, eh?
Yeah.
But then you like look around and some of the words that are inscribed across the hall,
Yeah.
it's just like, you know, courage, sacrifice,
Yes.
service, you know.
Man.
But right under where it says courage, or right above where it says courage, there's this picture of a knight killing a dragon. And I was like, man, it's like,
we
and
need
so I
that.
showed
Bring
Israel.
that
I was like,
back.
Israel, what's that? What's that? You know, kids don't really care. He's just seeing how fast he can run through there. And he's like, is that a dragon? It's like, yeah, it's a dragon, you know.
It's incredible.
I just like walked out so fizzed out. I was like,
Yeah.
man,
Mm.
like we have the greatest country in the world, in my opinion.
Mm.
That's why we started Pillar. Almost, it's like we believe in
Yeah.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I just like walked out. I was like, we actually just need to work so much harder. Like I feel like we're working hard, but I feel like we need to work even harder
Mm.
to defend and protect and advance the freedom that all those names on the wall died for. You know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
It's like crazy.
I've got you know, names of like ancestors and relatives all over the walls in there.
Mm.
And every time I go there, I go and look them up. Or I try and find another person, you know, that I've heard about in our family. But you know what was crazy is that the museum curator who was in charge there tried to kind of like take over the entire place. So they try to push out the war memorial side of it. Yeah, and that place was built for that purpose,
Yeah.
not actually as a general museum.
Well, we came in the back entrance for the first time.
Yeah.
And there's that huge.
Dinosaur.
No. So that's the front entrance where they've got the big foyer and whatever exhibitions on. They'll have like a small display.
Yeah,
But the back entrance, you will know the one with the big columns
by the
and
cafe.
Yeah, by that little cafe, and that's got a big inscription on top of the building about the men who had fallen
Yeah.
and died. Yeah,
Oh wow.
I never realized that the whole point of the museum was to be a war memorial.
No, so there was a Canadian, I think, and she had come in to do the museum part, and she was basically trying to launch a coup against the members of the board who were there kind of primarily to protect the war memorial side of it. And they were like, yeah, you know, to be honest with you, like it's sort of really a bit gauche, you know, a bit obsolete, but sort of passe, and you know, we should be looking at a more kind of inclusive environment. And I'm like, this place was built for this purpose, and you're now trying to like squeeze them out.
What the heck?
So there was a huge reaction to it, thankfully.
I saw the Spitfire, and I didn't realize that they had removed part of the roof to get it in there. Someone else was
Wow, I didn't know that.
telling. Yeah, well, I was standing there, and someone was doing a tour, and so I listened and got a bit of a freebie. But they're like, yeah, you know, they removed part of the roof to get this in here in its entirety instead of trying to rebuild it in there.
Yeah.
It's so impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I went to the British Museum in London just recently, and that was cool. That's an amazing building. But going to our Auckland, you know, museum or War Memorial, I should say, that rivals them in terms of it's impressive. It's a beautiful building, and it's actually really well done in terms of that part of it. The War Memorial.
Well, like Deb and I went to the Natural History Museum in New York in 2024 when we were there at the end of the year, and like that was a cool museum. Like there was night at the museum, sort of backdrop and everything, and all the taxidermy stuff, and they've got an amazing collection. But it was very reminiscent of being in that area. I was like, oh, this feels like it wouldn't be out of place at a museum of that caliber.
You know, our one they built in the early years of the Depression.
Really?
Wow.
I mean, it's. I think it's the most impressive building that we have in Auckland.
Do you know what I literally said to myself as I walked in? Man, we really knew how to.
Yeah.
We really used to
Yeah.
know how to build things.
Yeah.
That's right.
But you don't see
And they
that happening.
fundraised for that too.
Really?
So that wasn't just like, oh, the government, let's just spend a whole lot of money on
What
it.
the heck?
They actually fundraised around the country to build that museum.
Incredible.
And it is so impressive.
And then
So
some
beautiful.
Canadian just tried to come in. Just like the Swede in our national bank.
Oh, you mean
Oh,
the
yeah.
governor of the
The Reserve
Anna,
Bank,
Anna,
yeah.
whatever her name is.
Nah,
not the
honestly,
Federal Reserve, what am I saying?
I was gonna say we should do a trip to the museum as a team, but we've got
Should.
a lot of events coming up as a team. We're gonna go to Stephen Pinker, gonna go to Chris Williamson. We're gonna go to the Foreign Defence Symposium where you'll be speaking.
That'd be exciting.
Come on now.
Very looking
No pressure.
forward.
What are you gonna say?
I can't tell you now.
Yeah, spoilers.
Yeah, we might report it ahead of time.
I'm basically going to be sending up smoke signals, like running up the emergency flag.
Can you start a chant?
We've got a crisis on our hands,
A
guys.
chant.
Start a chant for us. We'll join in.
Yeah, it depends on what it is, but most likely.
Mate,
We'll be at unis as well.
maybe you. Oh, you haven't even talked about this.
Yeah, orientation week.
Orientation, Rio, and end of year celebration. We're
Heck
locked in.
yeah. So excited.
So, and we're also getting a redesign done of our branding. So we had an amazing graphic designer reach out who we've worked with him in the past, but
It's a great job.
was keen to see how he could help Pillar, if there's any ways he can contribute. And I just said, look, I know this is a big ask, but would you be interested in looking at our branding and maybe tightening it up, like giving us some reinterpretation, something we can just use all the time?
Yeah.
And so hopefully he comes back soon and we'll get all of our physical equipment made, signs and table covers, and then we'll be able to be at university and just encouraging the next generation of students,
Young
Kiwis,
people, yeah.
to think more critically while they're there. So we'll ask them some hard questions. We'll get in there, we'll debate them. Might do some change my mind style stuff. So we'll
Some
be
videos,
yeah. Maybe we'll get you to debate a bunch of people. Arian debate a bunch of people. We'll do a little bit of like, what's your political hot take? We should do communism sucks, change my mind, and then you can
Yes,
debate all
this
of
is
them.
True.
Yeah,
It
So-
does suck.
and it's in March as well. So maybe even we can get Peter along for some of that. Like Peter might be really interested in doing some
Peter
street
Bogosian.
epistemology. Yeah. Oh, we should actually invite him.
Invite him along. He'd love it.
Yeah.
He'd love it. He can do
I'll
it
send him a
for me.
message.
You
So-
might,
Yeah.
might boost our views as well if he shares it on his.
There we go. We'll boost his views. Maybe
Yeah.
not. don't
I
know.
mean, in between,
yeah, sure.
in between his street epistemology, his lectures, and his midget wrestling refereeing, I'm sure.
Oh, he loves it.
can
He
find a
actually
space
loves
for
it.
us.
He's so funny.
But no, that'd be cool. But no, we've got heaps coming up. We've got heaps going on. 2 submissions in with Parliament at the moment.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you like how we're an hour into this and we're only just starting to talk about
What we're doing.
what we're doing? Maybe I'll shift
Nah,
this
we've been
portion to the
talking-
start of the podcast.
I mean, we're putting a lot of material out
people-
about what we're doing.
People.
Exactly.
people
And
need
the
to
point
know.
of the podcast is this is where we just get to chat. think
to
through
know
some
us.
things. Now we all know what we feel about immigration. Wrong. It's wrong. No, we're not
I like
anti-immigration.
immigration. Can I read you a meme that I
Caveat.
saw?
Can you read us?
Anti-ourselves.
Yeah, read us a meme.
Oh, sorry. Where's this coming? It's coming. It's here we go. Trump disguises himself as Muslim migrant, so Europe will let him invade Greenland. That's quite funny. I thought. It was,
Yeah, Babylon B, another one. Let me see. Yeah, I like how they didn't give him the mustache. It's just the beard.
Yeah. Anyway, as we were talking about immigration, I was reminded of that. Sorry to take this back into the deep,
No,
dark,
it's good, it's
dark
good.
corners of immigration
let's just
policy.
get a one word on it. Is this going to be the hot topic? Like the Treaty Principles Bill was kind of the last one. Is immigration going to be the hot topic of this election?
No.
Yes or no? No?
No. Still the economy.
Through the economy?
Which is one word? No.
Okay, and what do you think it'll be?
I think it will be a topic that is discussed, particularly from the likes of the New Zealand Firsts, because they'll just bring it into discussion, but I don't think it'll be the hot topic.
Do you mean the minor parties are going to force the discussion?
Yeah, I think so. Not force it, but as part of a broader cultural issue, because the Americans are talking about it and the Europeans are talking about it. I think it'll just be part of we need to preserve our country's identity.
Mm.
And as a result of that, because I think New Zealand First, for better or for worse, takes on a lot of those cultural issues as part of their campaigning.
I agree with you.
Yeah. And that's not to say that's bad or good. It's just part of their tactic, and it works, and it's good for them. And they're important conversations to have. And so as a result, I think it will be a discussion.
It'll only be them, though. No one else will touch it. X not bothered. You won't get the Greens or Te Pāti Māori.
But what will happen? Well, the media will be like, "Hey, go to Luxon or Seymour and say, hey, you're Winston Peters' friend. He's saying some mildly
Yeah.
racist things. What do you think?" And then you'll say, "Well, what I will tell you is that we respect and value all people."
I reckon Seymour will say, it's not my job to comment on other parties' policies. But if I did have to say something, and he always does it so well like that, where he's like,
He's good, man.
you want me to talk about something that's outside of my wheelhouse? Well, okay, but just so you know,
That's out of my wheelhouse.
it's out of my
So no,
wheelhouse.
I'm an engineer. So
I
Yeah.
lived
Get out
in
of
Canada
jail
for
free
10
card.
years. Wow, how long was he in Canada? Not 10 years.
nah.
Did you see his video with him with the Canadian accent?
Yeah, I've
That's
seen
so
that.
funny.
But I've seen people come back from a month in
Yeah.
the UK with a UK accent, so
I do that every
Really?
time.
yeah.
Well, Johnny.
Nah, he is South African one. Nah, yeah, I don't think immigration will be a core conversation, but it'll definitely be pushed out there by NZ First a lot. And I'm not necessarily against the conversation. It'll just be interesting to see how many votes they pick up with it. I think they'll actually pick up a fair few.
Oh, sure.
I think a lot of people
Well,
are
that is
interested.
because I think you're right about New Zealand First targeting that issue,
Yeah, which is-
but they do that obviously to rally a certain group of supporters that they can kind of count on every.
But do you know what? I think that group is growing significantly.
Yeah,
I
I think so.
do too.
Particularly
it's-
from young people
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, it
I do.
is a lot
Yeah,
younger. Yeah.
young
But
people.
I do think the economy is going to be the main topic.
Of course. Yeah.
It's going
Yeah.
to be the main issue. It's going to be the main thing on
For that
people's
main
minds.
voting demographic, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, that's right. Because actually, a lot of retirees, they were looking at the economy, but because they're not actively engaging in it in terms of employment or employing people, and they're not trying to run a business anymore, they're thinking more along the lines of things like immigration, because those are the things that rile them up. And New Zealand First knows that. Whereas the working population, primarily, they are still thinking about the economy.
Yeah. I think recovery is on the way. I think by the time we get to the polling booth, there'll actually be a lot of tangible
There will be some indicators,
Yeah.
probably, but
interest
think
rates.
it's still low.
Interest rates have improved. I think they'll sort of where they are now. They might get a bit better, but like in terms of like housing interest rates, I think fuel will get better. I think groceries will get better. I think all those key indicators that people look at will improve enough that
Rents
when
are
they go
down
to
as
the
well.
booth, which one?
Rents are down as well.
Rents down.
Yeah.
Like all of these things are positive. And then if we can combine this with some sort of return of like affordable house prices, like if we can get better house prices out of it, I think that'll be huge.
But even if prices come down or incomes down, but if earnings and
That's
cost
right,
of
I was
living
gonna
are
say wages.
going up, it still won't feel like things are improving for people, and that's the problem. Is because we're not seeing enough capital investment, in our
Wages need to
infrastructure.
go
We're not seeing major long-term
Yeah.
projects being put in place.
Earning will be like the wage will be hard to increase, but the cost of living will go down a bit. I think people will just be left with more money at the end of the day as
At the
opposed to
moment, I mean, everything's going up. All the key things that people are thinking about at supermarket are going up massively, and they have been.
meat, dairy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I think if they can arrest that increase, at least hold it for a while, people will start to feel like, okay, maybe I can get used to the new normal.
I still think ACT and New Zealand First are going to pick up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like they'll have a greater representation. They'll have more say in this next coalition government. I don't.
I think so.
Yeah, and I think that Labour will stay where they are or increase slightly, and then the other two behind them, Te Pāti Māori and Greens, will just fizzle out. And I'm not even going to give Top a mention beyond saying that. So
I really want to see how the Greens do. Like I hope that their vote is lower. I cannot believe that they had a higher vote than ACT in the last election.
I reckon Chloe's going to
percentage?
resign. I reckn Chloe's going
think
to
so?
quit. Yeah,
What is she going to do? Be homeless?
she'll go do something. She'll
Yeah, I think quite genuinely she has, and she said this a number of times, and I'm inclined to believe it now, actually, that she's not actually convinced that government is the way
Really?
that you bring about the most effective social change.
She
and
said
she
this.
and she still wants to be an activist of some sort. But
Well,
she
imagine
may,
her-
she may
imagine her in
pursue
this
outside of government.
space.
Wow.
She'd run a massive organisation if she did
Yeah,
what we do.
Hey, don't give me her ideas.
Oh, I'm not worried. Like I think
No, I'm kidding.
like she's got options.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess so.
Whether here or abroad.
well,
Like,
because she's a
yeah,
very
that's-
skilled communicator, right?
For all her flaws, she is intelligent and
She could sell anything pretty much if she puts her mind to it. So
very much.
I think that's likely. And Bryce Edwards is he wrote an interesting
I saw
piece this
that.
week.
saw
I actually
that.
I really liked what he said because in the sense that it rings true. I think.
Bryce is pretty good. I know he gets a bit of flack, But I quite like what Bryce.
I think he's always been. I've followed him for 20 plus years
Yeah.
as an academic, and I've always been impressed with just the way that he actually does quite dispassionately go through and look at trends and evidence and statements and aligns them with what people are doing. So, but on that point, I mean, I don't agree with everything he said, certainly, but on that point, he was saying the Greens have they've retained their core kind of constituency, which is students, university students, and inner city residents.
But you're talking about how they've moved away from the
environmental
stuff, which is
and that's a problem in other countries too. It's a trend that you're seeing in other green parties.
Yeah.
So
guys, like I have like I'd say they're a type of person that I like to follow, like, and get commentary from, but like a Bryce Edwards or Graham Edgeless, pretty good.
Yeah.
Liam here, I quite enjoy some of his takes. There's a few good guys on X who are like Kiwi based who they always have some interesting stuff to say.
Graham Adams as well. He's a journalist, but he's excellent.
He writes for the platform, I think.
Well, he writes for a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him. I've seen his stuff in a lot of places.
Yeah. Platform's back.
He's a very good journalist, though.
There's platform back.
Platform's coming back. Yeah.
Coming
Either yesterday or
They have.
soon.
Yeah, I've seen their stuff coming up.
Oh,
Again.
I just saw a tweet that they said they'll be back 7 a.m. on a certain day.
Yep.
So welcome back, platform. Anyway, we've talked for a while. So the election's going to be good. Immigration, we'll see how it goes. Might be a key talking point, might not be. Definitely will be for NZ first, but we'll see if anyone else engages them.
Yeah.
And stop beachcombing, everyone.
Everyone. Doesn't matter your race or color or gender. Or...
Yeah. Well, next time I go to Eastern Beach, I don't want to see any combing happening, It's probably...
But if you are interested, just look up Chinese language media for further details.
Yeah.
And you'll find a coach departing for North Auckland, somewhere near you.
Any final words for me before we throw to our... Well, we don't know what pace he's going to do today, but any final words?
I mean, I'm dreading it, to be honest.
Okay, where are we on the scale? We're going to go fast, slow, medium today.
Always fast. I'm in a very fast mood. So.
I thought you were going to give us some variety.
Today's variety is fast.
Last week was fast, and it felt medium.
I'm keeping you on your toes.
decided that right in that moment. Yeah, he was like, I need to say something. What am I going to
Even
say?
his response was slow. Last week, you said was fast. It felt medium. So go. What do you got for us today?
Well, I just want to say thank you all for listening and watching. Last week, I told you to kiss your wives, and for some reason, that was uncomfortable for many. But none of this work matters if you don't love the people around you. So keep loving them. Thank you for watching. Stay in touch. Stay in tune. We'll see you soon.
Hey.
Lovely.
There you go.
That might have been one of your best ones.
I think
That
so.
was short and sweet. That's why.
Short, sweet, fast.
Yeah.
How I
Follow
like
us on
it.
socials.
Yeah.
Check us out.
You didn't think too hard about it? It was just
Nah.
naturally
And I
flowed.
got a good reaction from my co-hosts.